Good day. This is News Compact reaching you from Rulers World Television. I'm Olawade Bolanwa. With me today is
Olushola Yanolua. I'll be bringing to you the foreign segment of the news.
now the news headlines. Three states unveil 2026 budget. Lagos, Oyo, Anambra roll out multi-trillion naira spending plans. KB states 24 schoolgirls freed after kidnapping. Nation reacts with relief. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi says he could seek amnesty for Nnamdi Kanu, but only if he renounces violence. The Guba demands NAS shutdown amid national security crisis.
On foreign news, Zelensky says Ukraine ready to move forward with US plan, open to discuss sensitive points with Trump.
On Monday, the government of Oyo State unveiled its 2026 appropriation bill for 891 billion 985 million 74,480 naira point 79, double the budget of economic expansion before the State House of Assembly in Ibadan. Under the plan, 502.8 billion is earmarked for capital expenditure, investments in infrastructure and development, while 389.1 billion is slated for recurrent costs. Key allocations include 210.02 billion for infrastructure, 155.21 billion for education, 7.81 billion for health, and 19.99 billion for agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, economic expansion means converting stability into opportunity. Linking infrastructure, human capital, and innovation. Our flagship projects are not isolated investments. They form an interconnected system designed to make Oyo State the business and logistics capital of the Southwest. We're not just building infrastructure, we're creating opportunities that will serve as a fulcrum for innovation and a modern first world economy.
Governor Sheyi Makinde said the budget aims to build on the successes of 2025, pushing Oyo towards a production-led economy. Among flagship projects touted are efforts tied to the AFCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area, the Oluyale Free Trade Zone, special agro-processing zones, a dry port and logistics hub, and the upgrading of Ibadan International Airport to accommodate wide-body aircraft.
Our legacy will not be measured by buildings alone, but by the values that sustain progress long after we've left the stage. And so to the resident people of Oyo State, let me again use this opportunity to say thank you to you. This is the final full year budget that I will implement. Next year's budget will only implement up to May 29. New leaders will come and they will implement the rest. But I've enjoyed this past almost 7 years. I've enjoyed the support of the generality of Oyo State people. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o.
The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Adebo Ogundoyin, held the proposal as ambitious, people-centered, and strategically aligned with the development priorities of the state. If passed and implemented effectively, this budget could deliver significant infrastructure improvements, upgrades in education and health services, and greater economic opportunities development that may impact places like Ibadan and Falele directly. Similarly, on 25th November 2025, the government of Anambra State submitted 757 billion 884 million 487,705 budget proposal to the state of Assembly for the 2026 fiscal year. The plan is tagged Changes Gears 3.0 solution continues. The proposed amount represents a 224.1 increase over the 2025 budget of 606.99 billion. Capital expenditure is prioritized heavily, 595.3 billion, while current expenditure stands at 161.6 billion. According to the Governor Chukwuma Soludo, the budget reflects a strong commitment to infrastructure, human capital development, educational health, and economic reforms. A projected deficit of roughly 225.7 billion will, if needed, be financed through hybrid means, increased internally generated revenue, possible privatization projects, concessionary borrowing, and other bankable financing models. Soludo's blueprint for 2026 emphasized the development of strategic infrastructure, dualization of trunk roads, further expansions of mass transit systems, including waterway transport, new jetties boats, initiation of rail master plan under public-private partnership, and the launch of an industrial mixed-use city in 2026, signaling a push toward industrialization and improved connectivity. The governor also stated plans to build 30 new public primary schools in underserved areas, establish two specialist tertiary institutions, and sustains the free education policy, underscoring the administration's human capital focus. If passed and implemented, this budget could deepen Anambra's infrastructure transformation and human development agenda, shaping better education, transport, health, and economic opportunities for residents. Following suit, the government of Lagos State has proposed a mammoth 4.237 trillion budget for 2026, unveiled by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu before the State House of Assembly under the team budget of shared prosperity.
Today, our Lagos stands tall as a continental economic powerhouse, Africa's second largest city economy after Cairo. This status is not an accident. It is the product of consistency, a product of productivity, and unyielding Lagos spirit. Our state is maturing, our state is diversifying, and is embracing new frontiers across investment, across tourism, technology, and sustainable innovation. From hosting the historic E1 electric power boat Grand Prix early this year, about a month and a half ago, the first ever in Africa, to being named the next host of the 2026 Creative African Nexus, the CANEX, and the 2027 Intra-Africa Trade Fair. Lagos continues to show that it's possible when ambition meets execution. As we prepare for the next phase of growth, our mission remains clear: to eradicate poverty, to expand opportunity, and to build a Lagos that works for everyone. A Lagos that is safe, that is secure, a Lagos that is functional and productive. Our vision continues to guide every fiscal decision that we make. We want to deliver a greater Lagos where shared prosperity is not just an aspiration, but a live and felt reality.
The new budget marks a substantial increase over 1 trillion higher than 2025 appreciation of 3.005 trillion. Sawolu said total project revenue for 2026 is 3.99 trillion, including 3.19 trillion from internally generated revenue, IGR, and 874 billion in federal transfers. The patient financing of 243.332 billion has been incorporated.
We have transformed the fiscal and learning space of our public institutions in Lagos. In total, over 250 educational infrastructure projects were completed in 2025 alone, by creating a safer, smarter, and a more conducive environment for more than over 600 learners statewide. We have constructed over 40 new multi-story single-level classroom blocks. We have renovated over 150 classroom blocks, over 150 classrooms.
The budget divides into 2.185 trillion for capital expenditure and 2.052 trillion for recurrent spending, personal costs, overheads, debt servicing, subventions, etc. Sectoral allocation review wide-ranging ambitions. Economic affairs 1.372 trillion out 338.49 billion. Education 249.132 billion. Environment 235.957 billion. Housing 123.760 billion. Public order and safety, social protection, and other public services. According to the governor, the budget aims to deliver inclusive growth, expanded infrastructure, including urban renewal, improving housing, flood resilience, transportation networks, road, rail, waterways, boosting social investment, enhancing healthcare and educational access, and supporting youth, women, and vulnerable groups. If implemented faithfully, the 2026 budget could accelerate Lagos' transformation, improving living conditions, expanding public services, boosting economic opportunities, and making the megacity more resilient and livable. All 24 school girls abducted from the government girl comprehensive secondary school mega in KB State have been rescued, the presidency announced on Tuesday.
Brigade Nigerian Army. The past 9 days, efforts have been made by all the security agencies and the Nigerian Army to rescue the school children of government secondary school, government secondary school, Maga, in Delco Forest, in Bagega, in Anka local government area of Zamfara State.
The girls has been seized when armed gunmen attacked the school on November 17, shortly after a military detachment reportedly withdrew. One of the kidnapped students managed to escape the same day, leaving 24 in captivity, expressing relief that the victims have been accounted for and ordered intensified security operations, including air and ground surveillance in vulnerable regions, to foster further kidnappings. Authorities also confirmed that no ransom was reportedly paid and that the rescue involved coordination between military, intelligence, and other security agencies. In a statement made recently, Ahmad Gumi said he will be willing to lead a push for amnesty for Inamde Kano leader of indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB) on condition that Kano publicly renounces violence, disbands militant operations, and commits to peace.
This Kanu that was imprisoned for terrorism, for agitating that our soldiers should be killed. If the same Kanu now will show remorse and also call for peace, honestly, I will be in the forefront in calling for his pardoning and amnesty for him. Look, Shagari, our president, we are from the same, actually, town, or in fact, related with Shagari.
Gumi argued that Nigeria's security woes cannot be solved by only force, suggesting the possibility of reintegration and negotiated resolution instead of perpetual conflict. However, his proposal has sparked controversy across the country, with strong reactions from those demanding justice for past offences. The call pits national security concerns against hope for reconciliation and peace, a dedicated balance that continues to divide the public opinion. During a special plenary session on Tuesday reviewing Nigeria's worsening security situation, Bribe Al-Hassan Adodugua called for an immediate shutdown of the National Assembly.
Farmers cannot go to farm. Our our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable house, as a house of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost. And that is no more than to shut this house down and to call emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. And this house must not take for granted that we are not part of the government. If the government is wanting, this institution of the legislature is a component of the government itself. We have to look inward to ourselves and see what more of oversight functions, like some members have said. Are we going to make? Are we going to provide? Mr. Speaker, we can even declare legislative emergency. Close the House, shut it up. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood?
It describes the country's current state as a full-scale war against humanity, warning that ongoing violence, kidnappings, and banditry have rendered legislative business meaningless so long as citizens' lives remain under threat. The Gore told his colleagues that despite efforts by security agencies, the best is not good enough, arguing that neither law nor promises can protect Nigerians while insecurity prevails. He argued that farmers cannot go to their farms, traders cannot go to their markets, and worshippers cannot safely attend religious gatherings, underscoring human cost of the crisis. He urged Parliament to declare a legislative emergency, suspend regular business, and demand urgent action from the government before continuing legislative work. Call started immediate reactions on the floor. The deputy speaker and others rejected the proposal, insisting that shutting down the legislature would weaken democratic institutions and hinder necessary oversight. They argued that Parliament remains Nigeria's best hope for crafting law and policies to address insecurity rather than abandoning responsibility when it's needed most.
And on foreign news, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Tuesday that Kyiv is prepared to advance a US-backed peace plan aimed at ending the war with Russia and is ready to formally discuss its remaining sensitive points with US President Donald Trump and European allies. Zelensky addressed a coalition of the willing, proposing that any final agreement include a multinational reassurance force to help uphold Ukraine's security. He emphasized that Kyiv must be directly involved in negotiating any deal, warning that decisions made without Ukraine's full input risk collapse. In Washington, US officials expressed optimism over progress with Trump, saying that only a few delicate issues remain to be resolved. As envoys prepare to meet in Moscow and Kyiv in coming days, global observers say that the outcome could mark a turning point, but caution that lasting peace depends on the handling of core issues, borders, security guarantees, and Ukraine's sovereignty. And that's all on foreign news segment. For more news updates, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bulu's World Television. I am Ulishola Iyanoluwa.
I'm Oladi Balariwa. Thank you for watching.